What do you say we do a little bit of extra Balatro content? What do you say? Because I promised, if I ever got an interesting runs, I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. We just finished the regular mode. So we just finished Ante 8. We're in Endless, just starting it. Needed to score 100,000, scored 90 million, and that was with me forgetting to move my blueprint, which we'll get to in a minute. So it's actually doing better than this, but experienced players can see sort of what we're doing here. Let's talk about it for people who may not know the game as well. Of course, Endless mode, we're trying to get as deep as we can. Our two negative jokers are not really helping. Odd Todd, we have some 3s in this deck. I'll show it in a minute. And not much else this applies to, but it's a negative, and if nothing else, it's helping me get more money out of certain tarot cards, one in particular, for joker value. And then Onyx Agate got this really early on, so there's a decent amount of clubs in this deck. Not hurting. Base Molt can't really hurt. There's a decent amount of clubs, so it's helping, but it's not really critical. What is critical is the other 5 jokers. So we have DNA. DNA is going to be here for a little while longer. Maybe more if we can get a certain type of card into our deck. Again, we'll show what's going on in a minute. But our core set is really Blueprint to copy AAA. So yeah, that's pretty potent. And then, of course, again, experienced players know what I'm about to mouse over to my right. Retriggering all played faced cards. So at one point we had the trio to give 3x along with the 4x for the family. The trio had to go when this came along because, I mean, the potential for this combination is really, really good. And of course, I can also blueprint the DNA. So that was why I was in the wrong spot last hand, I forgot. Because I have more than enough points to clear, so I can actually make 2 copies. And the deck looks something like this. Now again, we didn't really get this set up until around the midway point, so there's some other gibberish in here like 3s. There's 8 3s in this because at one point that was sort of the direction we were headed. And then, of course, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. So, yeah, we're trying to build on these. This is the primary thing we've been multiplying. So they have 4 molt, and they're holographic, so they give 10 molt. So we're getting a lot of flat molt that is then just multiplying like crazy. We also have a couple of these, and I've considered making more. It's nice to have anytime you have steel red seals, because, of course, those can also re-trigger. But they're not nearly as much of a priority as what we're playing. So there are 19 queens in this deck. We're trying to play flush 5, 5 of a kind, 4 of a kind is the highest level. We'll look at the poker hands in a minute. At one point I got this 10, thinking, eventually I might be able to turn it into a queen and then make it fancier. That has not come to fruition yet. Nothing's really helped with that. And we're still trying to clear out some of the other stuff. We did have, I'm blank on the name of the joker, but the one that lets you get $3 for your first discard and it destroys it. So we thinned the deck some, but maybe not as much as we might like. You can see which deck we started with, which is the one that makes planets and tarots twice as likely and then puts a 3rd slot in. So let's start weaving our way through Endless mode. It's not going to be a challenge for a while, but we'll see how it happens. I mean, sure, we have a ton of money already. We had some good money generation going on earlier in the run. That stuff is long gone because too many other powerful things came along. We'll peek in the Jumbo Buffoon pack just to see. Nope. Now, this, of course, looks extremely tempting right now because I believe this defaults to the most common card in your deck at first. But obviously that's going to change, and then it'll be certain things I may or may not have as much of. The trick is, there's a ton of queens of clubs, so that would be extremely potent for, like, one hand, right? We can see that pretty clearly. The problem is it's random, and I believe it's based on the stuff in your deck. So, like, that could be extremely powerful eventually, but as long as I've got all these other stragglers, like right now, Queen of Clubs is the most likely outcome. I mean, we've got, I don't know how many of those, 14. But if it hits like the 3 of diamonds, we're going to be sad. So I don't think we can take that at this moment, which is a bit of a bummer. Because, obviously, because it gets the ×2 when scored, it just triggers with all of this. But I don't know if it's the right fit right now. The other temptation would be just get rid of DNA, rock what we have, and figure out other ways to manipulate the deck. Death, Hanged Man, we'll see what else we come across, because this is pretty potent. I mean, the chances of it hitting something worthwhile are pretty good. We have full house decently leveled. We have some kings, some threes. Like, there are ways to make it work, but it primarily we need to hit, you know, the kings or queens to really trigger off of Tribule. I think I'm going to take it. If I had a red seal card on one of these holographics or, you know, something else that was really, really good to keep generating, I would probably keep DNA. But I think these are fine, but I don't know that I need to stuff a ton more in here when we already have so many. So I'm talking myself into doing it. Long term, I just think the multiplicative stuff is really big here. And we can also just keep Blueprint on Tribule to avoid fucking it up. Because that'll happen. Besides that, we're not too worried about this stuff. Mime showed up once earlier, and I have a little bit that it would key off of, but obviously we're focused on play. And, you know, Smiley Face would rack up some stuff. If it was negative, we'd be happy, but we don't really care. So we've been, I said I would show these. We have played a flush 5 and not a regular 5 of a kind, in part because 4 of a kind is already so potent. Now, obviously, playing a 5th card that scores wouldn't hurt in this setup, so we're going to take that here. Full House is also decently level, but it just can't scale to the same extent the others can, so I think we'll go this route. We're going to reroll a couple times here. We like Fool, but I don't think we want to use it yet. This is nice. This is a good find because, as you can see, other than the negative, we actually don't have a whole lot going on here. So that's certainly going to be worth a shot. Let's go a couple more. We're not really worried about this minute, so I don't need to spend a ton of money because it's not like, oh my god, can I get through? We're going to get through just fine, as you're going to see the next hand we play. Start with 0 discards, not especially scary. Again, especially at this particular level. You could make the case here. You could. But it's just so unlikely to be better than what we have currently. Negative we would have to look at, but I think we're just heading on. Could duplicate this and give it a shot. But I don't know. I'd kind of rather say that for something that's more guaranteed, like a death. So let's just keep going and show off kind of what this deck can do. We're no longer worried about DNA, so we're just going to discard for queens or these or whatever. Now again, we technically could go right now. I think what I'm going to do is play a 5 of a kind to get that in the rotation here. We're going to see a lot of planet cards because of the setup. So I think just to increase the chances of getting better hands that we can use more of and score all 5 cards in on like 4 of a kind, I think we're going to do that. Let's just watch and see what happens, just so you have an idea what the rest of this run is going to look like. So yeah, we're already in E, and it's ante 9. Now, can't settle. Got to build as much as we can because we know how much this ramps up, but happy to level flush 5. Should have opportunities to play it. Less so now that we got rid of DNA, but still not super worried. Peek in a standard pack. No thank you. I think we're going to go this over 4 of a kind just for the reasons we talked about, because every card that scores is so much more potent. And if we had to play 4 of a kind, it's still in good shape, but this could have some applications if we eventually got to a deck that had basically just queens in it, but again, it's just flat molt. Yeah, it probably doesn't hurt. We'll stash it for now. Judgment's always tempting, but we don't have the space for it. I thought about Blackboard earlier in the run because, again, we're building a decent amount of clubs. You know, it's basically half the deck, exactly half the deck, I guess. When you count the 1 wild card, this 3 of spades, I technically have just over half, but again, like, what would you possibly get rid of for that? We'll go 1 more. I think I'll get this. Again, this is not really the desire, but for $3, we'll take it and keep going. Ideally, we want to find a death, a hanged man, you know, again, thin, or make more of these, or our steel 9s if we wanted to. We do have a handful of these holographic ones that are not fancy yet, which is cool. So we'll just discard some stuff, see if we can find a second target. Oh, I don't have one. I thought I did Empress for some reason. I guess, you know, I've always been an advocate of using your discards. We know we're going to clear. So we'll just toss, you know, a couple things and see if we can draw into whatever else. I don't have a whole lot of other things that are going to do like money. There's no gold seals, no gold cards. Don't have any purple or blue seals. So we're not really drawing to anything in particular. But it's a good habit to build. And now we just pop off and, you know, we see what happens. Again, this is technically better in a way, but... I think that's fine. We had a ton of interest coming in. You saw the voucher. I'd already had one, which is why that one was available. So, you know, we don't even need to have any jokers that do that. We have a couple lucky cards, but not really. Acrobat's fine, but we have so many Bicker multipliers in play. So let's take a look at our Arcana pack. Well, not what we were hoping for. Not really what we want at all, if we're being really honest at the moment. I don't know. I don't even know if that really does anything. If anything, it's more things that can get disabled by a certain suit, but I don't. We have some Queens of Hearts. You know, that would have been an option maybe to convert this, or I don't know, but I guess I don't. Pretty disappointing outcome if we're being honest, but hey, that's life. Looking like Eris here. And that's ramping up pretty quick now, which is why I wanted to look at it. Roll a couple more here. Never hurt to see Hermit. I mean, we're going to do it. It's effectively the equivalent of this. Not as good, but we do have hearts and some queens. And it's negative. And again, if we find those jokers that... those tarots that are based on joker value, then, you know, we have a lot of it, 40 plus now. This one is the question. I've been begging for this in some other deep runs for the channel, and we have a few with some potential, but it's really not what we're about. And, I mean, again, like, some of these are so potent that I just can't figure out a way to make that happen. One more time. Okay. Not unhappy to see that. And, you know, Judgment keeps popping up when I don't really have the means to use it, so I think we'll just hold for now. Alright, 0 discards. This is not really an ideal start, but, like, we can just play stuff. We've got 4 hands, so we're just trying to draw a couple more queens. We get to 4, and we're just fine. What's funny is that that's a decent amount of points, and it has nothing to do with what our deck is about at all. We only scored 4.6 billion. I mean, I think we've fallen off. Fell off L ratio. You know how it all goes. Some temptations here. Spectral, obviously, we're going to look at. There's a few things in particular we're hoping for. I can get rid of one of these if I have to. We do have the option of, like, get rid of this, buy this, use it, fool it. I don't know. There's some options there. I think we're just going to go here first, because these are not going to affect what we draw from this, where some combination of this maybe could, probably not. Well, this is not exactly stellar. We can toss this on like the other King of Clubs or something. We obviously can't even consider this. So, like, I don't know. Put on a queen, I guess. It's not really that important to me either way. Let's take a peek at this. guess full house. And admittedly, I should have put the gold seal on a queen. It's late and I'm tired. I was just doing this for fun, but seeing the prospects of it, I thought, let's record it. But my voice is also super deep. I definitely would like to get Emperor. I don't know that I'm super worried about High Priestess, but I think I'd rather use it even for 1 rather than sell it for $1. That's okay. We'll pick this up and then we'll see about when we want to time this out. We're still looking for, again, one of 2 particular targets there. That's not one of them. That's not good enough with what we have. Let's just keep going. Don't want to spend a ton of money on rerolls. Just trying to keep our options available because we're not in any danger yet. Yeah, let's just toss some stuff here. It is funny that we have 1 queen of diamonds. I think that's funny. I guess we'll play 5 just to go crazy on multipliers. Queen of hearts this time are getting multipliers, so that's going to be big. I mean, it seems reasonable to me. It seems good. I like it. I guess for $3, yeah. I mean, again, we're really not trying to play full houses, but could happen. We do have some good prospects here. What we'd love to see is a death. Play it, turn the fool into it, get that out of the way, play Emperor. So we got a couple cracks at it. Let's see. All right, so we did get a Hanged Man. Not a terrible outcome, obviously. We also have this. Likely to happen. It just represents so much money. And, you know, a lucky card is fine. Don't have a great target for it. Spades, no. So, like, the choice is pretty clear here. As I'm looking at what to get rid of. We do only have the 1-6 of clubs, but we have more clubs in general. So I think just getting rid of these, like, solo 10 and 9s to reduce the targets for this just makes sense. Now, the question I have to ask myself is, how do I want to deploy Fool? So, like, this is going to happen. Now we have some options. We could Fool to get another Hanged Man and play it now. We could get rid of, like, these 2. But we do have multiple 3s of spades. Now, granted, that one's wild, but it's less effective for trying to give us fewer targets for the idol. We could Temperance and then Fool that and just get a ton of fucking money. That's kind of a nice approach in general. It also allows us to Emperor, see what we get out of that. Could be another Fool, could be a death. So, like, I think I'm just going to go this route into this. And there's not really a reason to spend this right this minute. So let's look at the next Arcana pack. I mean, that's very unexciting. I guess the one plus side is that neither of these happen to be bonus already. They're just holographic, so we can take those as targets. But I think we're just going to go here. We are going to use this to make room for Emperor, so we know where we stand. Okay, well, let's do it again. Could be some prospects for strength. I have a couple jacks that I haven't prioritized for deletion just because they could become queens. So I guess there's some prospects there. I'm looking at the other options to see if there's anything to rank up. You know, 2 of clubs into a 3 of clubs is 1 fewer target for the other cards. 6 into a 7. So there's a few things strength could help with. And Magician doesn't hurt. Just not something I'm prioritizing. We'll take some rerolls here, at least a couple. We don't have the room for anything at the moment, so it's, you know, it's whatever. But this, I mean, why? That's exactly what we're trying to find. Sure. This is becoming, like, in a roundabout way, more valuable again. You know, if I had the space, this would be cool. Plus 34 molt just because we have 3 negative jokers to help. But it can't replace anything. We'll go one more. I don't want to get super high on rerolls because I'm not at the point yet where I'm worried about dying whatsoever. This is going to have to be a consideration eventually when we get to, you know, ante 14 or so, fingers crossed, but don't think it's time yet. No repaint hand types does not scare us at all. It's one of the benefits of having this setup with flush 5, 5 of a kind, 4 of a kind, and we probably won't need more than one hand, let's be honest. It's only 1 million, but even if it was higher, not that concerning. Okay, we had 2 of our strength targets. I think we're just going to take it. We're not going to get a ton of chances to do much better, but that gives us another Queen of Hearts, and then 2 sevens of clubs instead of 1 of each. So, sure. And then while we're at it, I mean, let's just play everything. Sure, free money. Why not? We'll take a peek at Joker packs just to see. Yeah. Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. And we'll look in here. Again, we have multiple targets we don't mind seeing. Now, I guess, decision time. We did just put another Queen of Hearts in. It's what, 6 of those now? Yep. And we could be greedy and really go for Queens of Clubs. Or we could settle for 5 of a kind. Right now, you know, 5 of a kind trails by a little bit. But if we were to use it here, I think it levels it out pretty well. And then from there, we'll reroll a couple times. We're looking for a few things in particular. I'm going to buy a Fool and keep it. The Moon is certainly a possibility if we wanted to make it all flush 5s, or at least start down that road. So that is kind of tempting. And because I have 2 I don't mind, I think I'm just going to stand pat. And what am I trying to roll into? Because I don't have any space for tarot cards right now. Let's just dig a bit. Hey, not too bad. What else could I possibly dig for here? Not really anything. So I have to do some quick math in my head. This is, so if both are 300 times 30, you know, here's how you can do mental math in your head at home, kids. What's 300 times 10? 3,000. So 300 times 30 is 9,000. So 300 times 31 is 9,300. And 320 times 28 is 300 times 30, which is 9,000, minus 600, which is 8,400. But then there's like the other 20 of it. I think that's really close. It's the same ballpark, basically. But I should have played the 5th one to score more, to be clear. I was stupid, but I'm being a little loosey-goosey because nothing really matters yet. I guess I always talk about habits, so I shouldn't be doing that, but I am. I'm doing it. Not unhappy to see clearance sale. It's a pretty good voucher. Because that's the case, I guess we'll take this. I don't know. If we ever play 3 of a kind, we're probably fucked, but let's look at stuff, see if we can find anything cool or sexy. That'd be nice, but not now. This is gross as fuck, so I guess we'll go 3 of a kind again. Alright, we're looking to reroll for something cool or sexy. A tarot. A tarot we really want. In theory, now that their cost is reduced, these are nice, because at worst, you pop it open into 2 things and sell them for 1 apiece, and it's a wash. But we can't do that when we're sitting on Fool, so let's keep going. There's the Empress I thought I had earlier because I'm stupid. We don't have a lot of targets left. We still have a couple. Let's see. Or do we? I guess we have 1 holographic non-molt, and then this Queen of Hearts, this Queen of Hearts, or that's a lucky. This Queen of Hearts. So we have 2 targets, but we don't really have the space for either of these at the moment. It's up there. I guess we'll keep going. I don't want to spend too much on rerolls again. It's a little early. Now, this is what we talked about. We're going to have to hope to get a little lucky here. We don't have a way to like take the next one and get a rare. We are not the least bit concerned about clearing this ante, but a negative joker could be good, even if it's just a little helpful. That's fine. No queens in the opening hand. That's better. Can't play a flush 5, so let's just get like this in here. Could win the money. I don't know. Again, it doesn't really matter because big numbers go burr. Well, you know, we've kept kings around. Not a ton. Not a ton. But given our hand size, you know, this king obviously is now more attractive because of it. I mean, we're certainly taking it. You know, it might help. It's just a further multiplier, so it certainly can't hurt. And obviously, I see the death. Without an Arcana pack down here, we don't need to buy it right this minute, but I'm going to. I guess it's a question of, like, do I want a regular-ass Queen of Clubs? It is a Queen of Clubs, so, like, I probably will. Well, I'm sure we can stick stuff on it later. If it was another Queen, I probably wouldn't have. This, I mean, this is nice. It's lucky and a purple, so, like, yeah, it fits what we're doing. We'll take our death. It does make us less likely to re-roll because, again, both of our slots are filled, and we need to use the death to then turn that into the... So... I think here we go. Now, this is going to be even easier to fulfill because, you know, we've got some options. The question now is, like, are we just duplicating these? Do we try and dig for... I don't know. I mean, this one's kind of nice, but only the 1 in 5 chance for the molt. Generating more tarot cards is certainly powerful. If I'm being honest, I also don't have a target I love in hand to turn it into because I want to keep my kings in the future. Right now, I'm going to discard them to try and draw. I still have the hopes that maybe I can turn this into something, so it's not my first choice. We have a lot of other choices. This stuff, half these clubs. So I think we're just going to try and discard here. We don't have to worry about being too greedy because, like, we can play these and go out, so we're not worried about our discards to draw into a hand to win. We just want to use it to turn other stuff into other stuff. Well, actually, that Ace of Hearts is certainly not needed. So what we could do then... Go this route. And then just do this immediately, just so I don't accidentally mess up and, like, use another tarot card without thinking. Because I do want that eventually. And then I guess I'm going to discard to try and get to my other queen. Because I don't draw that right away. Now if I draw into it, I can't discard, so we're just going to play. Okay, we're up to E14. Still have room for improvement. The key, of course, there was that that was on the correct card, and that's not always going to be the case, so we're going to have to be a little careful here. This doesn't hurt. I mean, it does represent a little extra money and some possibilities later, so sure. You know I like Emperors, and we could use the death pretty quickly here, potentially, because of the Arcana pack available. So let's buy that, and then go here. So, this is essentially tailor-made. The question is going to become, do I want more kings now? So that as I'm playing through all of my queens, of which I now have 23, 19 of which are queens of clubs, that I'm getting more value out of Baron? Now, without a red seal, this is not triggering multiple times. So it's good. It's multiplicative. We like that. Like, we're going to turn this Jack of Diamonds into something. It's just a question of, like, this or this. And I guess because I know I'm going to get another death, I'll go with the queen for now. That allows me to play the fool into another death. We'll reroll a couple times just because it's cheaper now. You know, we're looking for only a few specific things, a couple planet cards like that, a couple jokers like Hermit, and other than that, unlikely to see much else that really moves the needle. This is not bad. Nope. We'll probably go one more. Well, trading card, that's what that one's called. That's the one I was talking about way back when. I mean, Emperor could be anything. He could even be a fool. So I guess... Is there a case to use this? I think there is. We have to use this because it could be one of the two money jokers, then sell it. Oh, that's sad. But converting things is almost as good as getting rid of them. In some cases, it's better, so we'll bring this along for the ride, and we'll stop there. All right, we're up to 300 million. You know, we're starting to get up there a ways. This is not a concern yet, but we're looking ahead. We know we're going to come up against it pretty soon here. That two of clubs is one of those candidates for getting rid of because we don't really care about any of this low-end stuff anymore, even the clubs. We're not going to play flushes now. I think we're just going to do it. Oh, no. No! Now, could also do the 10, but I think I'm going to keep the other death for the time being. What we are going to do now is just start discarding. We're not worried about those kings. I mean, right now, we could play a huge hand with, you know, 5, and 2 kings are already in hand to help with this, but I don't think we're worried about going out. What is this on? Ace of clubs. So that's not going to help this time, but I think we're going to be greedy and try and... I mean, we don't have the one target is the only downside. Like, it needs to be this queen. But we might as well. Because even if somehow things went terribly wrong, I could play a few hands to get back to the point where it would matter. Hey, the greed paid off. I guess this is the same. This king is 1.5, 1.5 because of this. This 9 is 1.5, 1.5 because of the red seal. So it doesn't really matter. At this point, I'm not really digging for anything else, though, so... Alright, let's get on out of here. Only E11. Alright, let's look at this Arcana pack, because we have a death. Hanged Man is certainly tempting. Temperance is always tempting, but we have a good amount of money. So, I mean, we could get rid of, like, all 3 of these. Although, the 3 of clubs are not the best target. Just trying to keep this in mind for the percentage play. Hey. So the next hand's over. It's Queen of Clubs. So, you know, we could get rid of, well, the 7 we have 2 of as well. But 3 of diamonds, 4 clubs makes sense if we wanted to go Hanged Man. We could hang on to death for now. We don't have to play it this minute. You know, it's really tempting just knowing that, like, again, we have so much value on our Joker set. $32 is awful nice. But it's hard for us to find a Hanged Man right now. And again, this deck is still a little bit more bloated than I would like. We're getting closer to something I'm more content with, but I think we're just going to go this route. I am hard-pressed to see a scenario where I'm going to be able to use Judgment. You know, if a campfire comes along or something, I'm going to have to look at it. But I'm not selling any of my non-negative jokers unless there's just something clearly better. So I'll hang on to this for the moment, but it's very likely to end up getting sold just to make some space. So 3 and 40, 3 and 30. Flush 5 has superseded 4 of a kind and is kind of our main target now, so sure. We'll take a couple rerolls on this because, again, we don't mind tossing Judgment. For $2, sure. Burnt Joker is quite nice at times, but a little late to be trying to figure that out now. Again, can you pop up in other runs where I'm really building that, please? You know, if I have the Mime, you know, Red Seal King stuff going on with this, like, I need you then. Come on, pal. The Moon is tempting. Convert some Queens of Hearts. Really just go all in on Flush 5. So I think we'll go ahead and do that. Because we're keeping those two, I think I'm going to stop here. Serpent, we're perfectly fine seeing because you can almost cheat the system with it. It's like you play or discard one card, get more. You know, it's bad if you play a 5-card hand, you don't draw as many, but we're not going to be playing multiple hands, so it's cool. Okay, well, the Ace of Diamonds means nothing to us, so it could certainly be converted via death. It'd be nice to get rid of the diamond row. This little 10's pesky, but I think we'll just go ahead and do that now. Now, because we have, you know, 6 of a kind, really, let's discard for some more Queens of Hearts if possible. Discard that? Yeah, probably. We're going to be fine either way. That's right, because this is Queen of Clubs. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. We don't need any extra help to get there. We have not been super successful in our endeavors yet, but we'll try one more time. So I think we'll just keep it. I don't really want to use it on 1 Queen of Hearts. I'd like to at least get 2. 3 is probably greedy with only 4 left, but... going to be okay. That's why we're desperately just trying to get this deck down. I mean, if we can get this to the point where it's like a couple Kings and Queens of Clubs, the more likely this is to hit, you know, that's going to be the difference because that adds so much more. We'll see. We're working on it, but we're also getting up to ante 13 almost. So, you know, it's a race. We'll take this anyways, even though we're trying to get rid of the last couple Queens of Hearts. Take a peek in here. Ew. I guess this. We really don't want to be playing that, though, primarily just because of this, if nothing else. But, you know, if we got backed into a corner. I mean, Magician could be handy, I guess. I'll get it, because the worst case scenario is I can sell it for $1 and just eat a buck. And now that we have 2 slots filled, we're less likely to find some things we want, so we're probably just going to jump ahead. 600 million. We haven't hit $1 billion yet. Obviously we will, but we're not in the E's until 14, I think. So we're chilling. It is going to be a little harder to discard into Queens of Hearts, but, you know, we can try. We can damn sure try. So let's just discard these 4. We're only drawing 3 anyways, but we don't care about any of those, so that's fine. Again, don't care about those. So since we only draw a set amount, we'll just keep discarding what we don't need. Don't need that anymore. That's kind of helpful, but not really. Yeah, we're not having the best of luck here. I guess the question I'm going to have to ask myself is it worth it trying to like get rid of $1 or 2 to play a couple non-valued hands just to give us a chance at this, but we don't have any in hand? It'd be one thing if I had 1 trying to draw to 2. Don't currently have any. We only have 4 queens of hearts and 34 cards, so I think... I don't know. I think we just keep going. I would like to open up one of these slots, though. I mean, I don't even technically need to play 2 cards, but it's fine. $126. All right, well, this is our chance to play this. Difficult to see the lucky card sometimes. I know it has like the slightly like worn out edge. So that kind of accomplishes the goal of getting the spot open. So I think we out. It's an E11 even without this activating, which is now back on Queen of Clubs, so the first hand next time is going to be trivial. So we're still doing fine, but, you know, as we look ahead, we know we're going to be up against it here pretty soon. So can't get too cocky. Gotta take it one hand at a time. Nope. Magic trick. We would have liked to have seen a better voucher, but... Alright, we're going to dig for something. That's more of a long-term play because we really are not going to be looking to duplicate Moon, and I'm not super excited about Planet X, but probably means I'm done pulling now. I could also just toss Moon and give up on that endeavor, but I have to draw Queens of Hearts eventually, right? Alright, so we need 47 billion, but that's fine. Is a flush still the most common hand? Hilariously, it is, because I've been a little all over the place on flush 5, 5 of a kind, full house, 4 of a kind. So this doesn't affect us at all, which is great. Hey, all right, well, we're going to have to be as greedy as possible here. I'm happy with 2. If that's the way it ends up, that's okay. How many Queens of Clubs are left? 15? Yeah. Like, sure, let's toss one more just to give us a better chance. I guess we won't be super greedy. We'll just toss 2. Now, I could turn this into a club. I guess it could matter for this. But this is giving some mult too, so it's only helping a little bit. I'm a little nervous about, you know, if next ante we get hit with the clubs don't score, the run's over. I have no outs of getting around that at this point. We're too committed, but... So, like, I guess changing this wouldn't really matter. The benefit of that is we have other Kings of Clubs, so I guess we're going to do that just to help the likelihood of this. Because we had to play Kings of Clubs in a full house to get further multipliers, it would probably be worth it. So let's do that. It'll get that out of here. We at least got the 2. We were hoping for 2. We got 2. Keep Fool for a better target, ideally. You know it's going to be a good sign if the multiplier's in E, because then obviously it's just going to be a better E when it adds in our chips. Okay. Fool. So let's go Arcana first. I actually might take this just, you know, to see. Ideally, we get a good target for Fool in this. You know, let's take the standard first on the off chance there's a really good, like, red seal card or something that we would then have a chance to duplicate. We did not. Oh, boy. I mean, I said I eventually was going to look to make some glass cards, and we're going to do that here because it would be wasteful just to get rid of everything. I don't think we're going to fool the justice, though. I mean, maybe. I guess you can argue that we're going to need further multipliers in about 1 more ante. So I guess we'll think about it. In any case, that's the easy choice here. Even if I do that now, I still won't be able to clear it out of the way, so this is only going to be able to give me 1. But I think I'm going to take a swing at it. And I guess we'll use rather than get $1. I mean, I'm looking at what we could convert with clubs. You know, some of those other threes could become threes of clubs to help our chance of, you know, having the queen of clubs be the thing that hits, but I'd also rather just get rid of them. Stop messing around with these other cards that don't matter. More targets for Hanged Man, so I think we'll just take it. We could Fool if we really draw enough of those early enough from that. I don't hate that idea. So I think it means we're just going to keep going. And I talked about having attractive targets. You could argue all 4 of these are. The 3 of Spades is a little less so, because there's 2 of them, but I mean, the only way to get rid of both of them is to do them eventually. I mean, at the very least, I think these 2 make a lot of sense. Do I have any more 9s of clubs? I do. So it could be those 2. Could just be this, like this. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Do I have any jacks left? I don't think I do. Nope. Alright, so let's start by doing this. Ah, the hell with it. I've wanted to thin the deck. I have an opportunity. Let's take it. And now we're going to discard once, I guess? I don't know. We'll draw a bunch. We'll dig for our special queen with her special eyes. Didn't hit it. Now if we do, we won't have time to discard it, so we're just going to be out. Now, you'll have noticed the problem here. I mean, we're 47 minutes into the run and it's going well, so to be clear, it's not like it's a huge problem. But we have sort of capped out at E14. We are going to have to figure out, like, we're building consistency. We've manipulated the deck to be in a much better place. But eventually we're going to have to figure out a way to make that higher. Now, we could be really persistent about getting to our kings or our red 9s. Like, there's ways to do that to help a little bit, but, you know, long term, we only have a few more rounds before this is going to get hairy. Okay, well, I mean, the choice is relatively clear. Wheel of Fortune would be cool, and Temperance is always very nice, but we did just pull one of those from the shop. Whereas we can get rid of this 10 of clubs, we have only one 10 of clubs left. The tricky part about this for me is the kings could help, like we talked about, as we're cycling through our hands of queens. But it also slightly increases the chance that a king of clubs hits on the idol. The more these queens of clubs I duplicate, the more likely that is. If I get to a point where that's gone and I'm on the E hands, could be gross. I think if I had a red seal on that king, it'd be a no-brainer. Because that would be pretty potent in combination with Baron. But I think it's just this. Now, I guess the question is, like, I don't have my lucky one here for clubs, so I guess it's not much of a question at all. I wouldn't mind some more Wheel of Fortunes to try and get some extra stuff on here. It wouldn't hurt, especially, obviously, Polychrome. Running out of targets. 2 queens of hearts, though. I guess we'll try it. $2. We have both spots open. We'll see. This is becoming increasingly unuseful, but again, $2. This is becoming increasingly... we had non-steel kings, right? 1, 2, because it's holographic, so we can make 2. All right, let's try that, and let's keep going. Playing a flush. Oh, God. Hey. Well, this worked out. Because there's our last 2 queens of hearts. Which opens up the space to discard now. We don't want to worry about this queen. That's going to be saved for later when we get real desperate. So let's just discard, I don't know, these 5. It's funny to discard a flush 5, but, you know, we have bigger things in mind. Okay. Don't hate that. Now we are looking for one of our other kings. We did not draw it. Make the ace of spades into steel. I mean, I'd like to not have these here going into the next shop so I can get more stuff, but I guess the alternative is make one of the holographic but not multi-cards steel. It serves as another multiplier option in a pinch. So I think that's better than this random ace of spades that I would like to get rid of at some point. So let's go that route and then Emperor. See what we have. Okay. I don't really have a reason to use that yet in case I find a negative joker that makes it higher or something. And this doesn't really have a target anymore. So in we go. Keep this one in hand. Our first E15 shows the benefit of having a handful of those cards there. You know, if we can keep a balance of playing 4 to 5 queens of clubs and juggle those, that's going to be ideal, but okay. Well, let's see. Are we going to buy anything before that? I guess not. These 3 don't interest us. As a reminder for people who are newer, if you have some of these bought, this basically refills all the slots. It doesn't just add the new one. But we'll just take it now. Hey, we like that. We'd like to see at least one more between these 2 Celestial packs. That'd be cool. Hey. I mean, 600 times 49 is pretty good. And, you know, that's not the best, but as long as one of the hands we might be playing is in there, I mean, I can't be too upset. Don't really have any bonus card targets that we care about. I actually had this earlier in the run. It was like 2.5, 2.75. But again, it quickly got crowded out by everything else that was going on. Even the trio. You know, in the hands where I can't trigger this, the trio's better. But this is so much better that when it does, it's not even close. Strength doesn't really help, I don't think. We can turn both 3s of hearts into a 4 of hearts. Not really useful. I guess for $2 we'll do this. If we're playing 3 of a kind, we're lost, but again, this is up there enough that I think it's still worthwhile. We might have to play it at some point. Fortune Teller, you know, it's tough because I feel like I keep coming across this and I rarely have the space. The flat mult this represents is really strong. You know, if these weren't negative, no brainer. But what do I get rid of out of these 5? Like, they're too potent. We're going to keep looking, though, because, like, I do have a lot of dollars. I can sell this to make room, so we're looking for one more good option here. Wild cards, spades, devil, chariot's not bad. So I guess we'll do that. And I don't know. I mean, we're about to enter E territory here. We can't see it yet. So I don't think we're blowing through all of our money yet because we can win the next couple. But E13 is everything on this particular ante, which we've been hitting on the regular, so that's not too bad. We do have Polychrome Joker, but it seems awfully tough. Play only one hand type this round. We'll have to be a little careful with, but we'll take a look at the opening hand and go from there. All right, so I mean, that part's easy. This part, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of targets that are possible left, so it may be that that's just not useful for us. Is it better than this? Maybe. That's guaranteed 4. 1 in 5 chance at 20 is effectively the same. Swingier, which I guess we kind of need at this level, but we're just going to discard. We're going to be a little careful on our discards. I mean, again, I think we can hit 14, E14 pretty easily. So maybe we'll discard like 1, trying to get to our purple. But I think at this point it's just get out of here. Get out of here clean. Don't ask questions. With these additionally in the hand now, we should be just fine. Maybe we can get to 16? Is that too much? Because, I mean, it's one of those hands where this is triggering, so I think it's possible. But should be 15, I think. So that's good to know. That gives us an idea where we're at when it comes to it. All right. Sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to get it. I don't think we're going to use it yet. This is probably just going to get tossed. We will have to consider full if we find a good target. These are not what I would consider to be good targets. I was going to say, like, it's handy sometimes if you're in this spot and you do not care to think of, like, the Joker that gives more money after each round based on how many unique planet cards you've played, but I'm not going to take that Joker, so I don't... None of those. I guess I should have taken High Card. It's the only one I might play, but... Okay, well, Four of a Kind, not our first choice, but decent, I guess. Well... Am I stopping here? We're getting the deck really close to where we want it to be. Queen of Clubs is back. Chances are in our favor. I mean, 27 out of 48, so it's more than a 50-50 chance this hits Queen of Clubs. I'm just trying to think, like, do I if I get caught in a hand where this is not Queen of Clubs, I'm going to be at risk of dying. So it's like, I need to get as many as I can. So I think I'm going to be greedy and try a couple more of these. And if I happen to hit like a death or something, we'll do the same thing where we use the Emperor, sell the remainder. Well, welcome. Hey, that's nice. Oh. Alright, I think that's it then. Because, again, we're not super worried about E13. Should be fine. Famous last words, I know. But this is Queen of Clubs. And this is a pretty good opening draw. We could death 2 targets here. 6 of Hearts, obviously. And that pesky 10 of Diamonds. They can both just be gone. Because we just have multiple 3s. I could even play them in a full house if we had to on something like this if it hit. This is also another target. This is not even really that good at this point. So we don't mind this outcome. Now it's a question of what are we converting them into? So like 10 of Diamonds, great. Going to turn into one of these. A lot of queens in the deck. We can discard to try and get to our 4 Steel Kings and our 2 Steel Red Seal 9s. We're never going to want to have more than 4 or 5 of those in the hand. So I don't know how much more I want more of them. Again, if I had found a way to get a red seal on one of them, different equation here, I maybe just turn one of each just to kind of have some options here. But I don't want this to say King of Clubs. Again, it's possible we could try and play 5 of a kind for that. Flush 5, like, it wouldn't be the worst, but it's not really what we're looking for. So let's death. Let's fool into a death. I don't know. The 6 of Hearts looks fine. The Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades! We're not going to be able to clear out either of those rows because we're going to be keeping these 2 cards, probably. This one, the least useful of them, obviously, but it still counts for 1.5. Let's just get the heart out of here. Don't want the lucky, the flat mult. Probably the flat at this point. Okay, now we're going to start discarding, just trying to get to what we need. Look at these other targets we could toss. Let's be greedy at least once more. Okay. You know, we Well, let's put 2 of these in this, because I think it's not going to matter. Now that we have this in hand as well, just for the chance. I guess because they're having the chance to play multiple times, it really should be the luckies, because it has more than one chance to hit the plus 20 mult. So it does make it better odds than just a flat 4. Okay, like, obviously, we have a Jumbo Spectral pack, which could present some interesting options. I'll probably play this first, because if it can get us like a red seal or something, then maybe we can duplicate it. This obviously also... Oh, I forgot about Eris, though. Fuck me. That's alright. You can't play too quick. Alright, well, purple seal, negative, -1 hand size. Possible. Random number cards, no. Blue seal, probably not. So we have a 9-card hand. We go to 8 if we activate this. The question really is not, is this good? It is. The question is, I mean, I have $250. Can I find an adequate joker to add to the mix to make this worthwhile? We've talked about how we're sort of hitting a ceiling here. We have hit E15, but, you know, if we can find the trio, if we can find the thing that copies the joker on the left, just reorganize things, because, like, this could be the joker on the left. Technically, this would be, but it can copy this into this. It's the big upside play. We don't have a ton of things that we're worried about keeping in hand. Obviously, the kings and stuff in this, but I think this is just the play. Okay. If only you could fool that, huh? Well, given the choices, I think this is clear. What we're thinking about, so that we're not sitting here in silence, is fool the flush 5. It's another plus 3 and 40. So it'd be 680 times 55. Keep the fool. Could fool this too. We are digging for a joker right now, so I think I'm going to keep the fool. We're going to be having a lot of chances to see a death or something else. At the very least, we'll have the option of fooling that temperance if we want to until we do something else, but, well. I mean, at the very least, we gotta pick it up. We might find some better stuff, but, like, that's pretty good. 10 hands, you know, we only have so many hands left in us. We'll pick up the 4 of a kind again. We really don't want to hope to be on that road now. Let's keep digging for now. Yeah, $2. So we have that 1 king. And we could convert a couple of the queens. Or like the 3 of clubs, just as an option. So I guess this is worth it. Rerolls are getting pricey. You know, at this point, 1 hand type shouldn't be an issue. It'll be a flush 5, almost certainly. So I think we'll give this a roll. We also want to see what this does for us, as far as where it brings our ceiling to. Because now we're at the point where, like, I could steal this. you know, it's just a regular one. It doesn't have the extra molt from holographic. But we'll start off by tossing some things and see if we can find something else. Although it is tempting to do, but it's early. Well, that was one of the ones we wanted. Let's do it. No reason to discard one more time. I guess I could get a steal, so we should. Nope. Alright. Let's see what this does. What's nice about this is, like, if for some reason this isn't enough, and I think it has to be, we could still play other hands. They wouldn't score, but to try and get back to a flush 5. So we're not worried about, like, oh god, I play this and I can't find another one. Should be fine. Shouldn't matter. Yeah, no, I would say it's fine. E19, I think that's the highest hand I've ever had. Options, stats, yeah. Okay. Well, there are some polychromes would have had to consider. Probably not to-do list on Anti-15. Hiker. I mean, think about how often things are scoring. Could have been handy. Probably not Anti-15. Well, I mean, this is certainly something. I think we'll just justice this queen, but ugh. Really not excited to see this back. You know, more hands, more discards, hand size. Yeah, a lot of things we could have seen here that would have been preferred, to say the least. Given this consideration. Doesn't matter yet, but this is just so much more potent. Polychrome would have been a thought, but sadly I think it's a pass. Abstract Joker continues to get more powerful. Okay. Like that. How many of these are uncommon? Several, but not enough that I think you can justify it. It is fun using this, though. It's one of my favorites in runs. They don't end up going this deep, but it is quite fun. What do you think, guys? Stencil Joker? Huh? Empty slots? Huh? I think we're going to stop there. Okay, so we're up to E17 at the end of this. We're on Queen of Clubs. I'm just considering, like, other than the interest and the shop that gives me a chance to reroll for stuff, like, I could be skipping just to get as far in as possible, but, like, double tag is unlikely to be helpful because I don't want this. That puts me in the next ante, which is presumptuous. We did just have an E19, but I think we're just gonna play. Huh. I'm just gonna discard a bunch? Maybe like 4 of them? Because we're looking for targets for this to open up these spots. And we are not doing an excellent job of finding them. I don't really want to convert these queens, even though they're weak compared to the others. I want to convert those 3s of hearts, that 4 of hearts, that 3 of spades, the 3s and 7s of clubs. So let's toss 3 this time. Now let's go 4. Okay. That's better. Now what I think I'm going to do, to be honest, is this. I think this is the time to start looking at that so that we can weather the storm of destroying 1 or 2 of them, but we have a further multiplier in there for when things start to get dicey. So we're just going to go death. Ooh. Death. And then with our last discard, we're going to discard 1 and hope to draw a non-1. We did not. So we're going to play 1 and cross our fingers. That's so big because of the chance of it triggering so many times. You get that times 2 more than once, so it's not even just that it's a times 2, it's the fact that, yeah, I mean, E20. Okay, well, here we are at a time much later than I planned to be up. If you've been sticking around the video this long, thank you. I'm gonna lose my voice. I talked a lot at work today. And now I'm recording for an hour plus unexpectedly, but here we are. Flush 5 has gotten pretty big. 800 times 64. I think it has to be full house at this point. I think if we get in trouble, we're more likely to play 4 queens. Probably have to be more likely to play 4 queens then, because we want the kings in hand rather than playing them. And yes, there's a little bit of full house possibilities down here. But then those would be flush houses unless it's these. So I guess it's 4 of a kind. Now we have some room up there. If only. None of this is exactly very helpful. Okay. Better. Better. And this is an option. Don't need to deploy it yet. This is also an option. So we have 3 plays here. We fool now, and even further level up flush 5. Then temperance and justice. We temperance now, buy the justice, use it, then fool it, just because those are so potent. There's still a handful of like these queens of clubs that we don't care about converting, and ultimately, like this would still be better to convert if we needed to. I think the glass ones are going to be the key now. So I think we're just going to do this, just to stockpile some money, and this, and roll. You know, if I die with a bunch of money, I'll look like an idiot, but we've been clearing this with room to spare. Okay, well, these are 2 of our targets. They're not the best targets, but they're not the worst. Oh yeah, but I got rid of that. I don't have death. I'm stupid and it's late. So we definitely don't want to risk playing more than 1 glass card at a time right now, because we don't need to. So I think we'll just go the route of playing like... Well, we'll see. Yeah, this is one of the ones we talked about, so let's do it. I don't need to fool right away. I think I am going to turn it into a justice, but I don't want to be too stupid. Obviously, I could mess it up like earlier, but there's the other one. Now we're going to be playing 1 here if this is what we rock with. Can't discard the purple one, purple seal one, so let's do it. Move it over to the side. Watch the magic. Almost E21. So we're getting there. Okay. Ah, God, it's so unlikely, but what the hell? You never know. Could be polychrome, could be, you know, could be something that would be meaningful at this stage. And here, we'll take a look. Nope. This is a free flyer. Let's see what we get. Okay. Hanged Man and Justice. That's not bad. Hanged Man is running out of targets, but still has some. Ace of Spades, Ace of Clubs. Those low clubs, those 2 threes. So ideally, we're probably going to bring these 2 in. Base chips and multi halved could be a little dangerous at this stage, but... no. No. It's negative, but I don't imagine we're ever going to play a hand without a face card. If we do, we're in some real shit. Times 2. If this had been the negative, that would have been cool. Okay. Aww. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Let's go one more. This can be handy, but again, I don't know what we get rid of. The thing is, because we're clearing these with one hand, the seltzer just continues to be active. So, like, I don't even want that at this point. I don't think it matters. I think we rock these 2 because we want to play both. Because we're going to get to the point where we have to look at playing multiple glass cards, you know? I'm almost tempted just to play one of these hands. Or maybe convert this into a glass. No. We have no really good destruction targets in hand. I kind of want to play a hand and see where we stand. Base chips and multi are halved. This is 420 times 33. It's a pretty sizable downgrade, but we have so many multipliers in play. I mean, it's effectively cutting our total in half just because of the way everything multiplies, or thereabouts, not quite. I guess I basically just want to know how much trouble we're in. We're still going to have time to play again. If this does go out, it's not like it's the worst thing in the world. These will be blocked a little bit, but I don't know if this is going to be enough with those being halved. And also, that's not a queen of clubs. But the power of glass is helping us get through. Can we afford to be greedy, or do we just hanged man this? If we hanged man it to get our 5th queen of clubs, we're going to have to discard a king, and then we'll draw 2. Or we just discard it, and that allows us to, you know, keep all of what we have. I want to open up the space. That's cruel. Okay, decent backup draw. I think we're just going to play these and keep the justice for now. Well, actually no. This is the better discard target. I don't think I can be any greedier. I think I need to try and keep these 3. I mean, I'm thinking just about the fact that, like, this is now ticking, and if I discard and I don't draw 2 queens of clubs, which I am pretty likely to do, I may have to burn a hand, but well, the good news is that is one of the targets for what we were looking for. The bad news is now we got to make a decision. So 4 of a kind is going to be even further halved, and we need desperately to get to a whole nother E yet. I think it's all or nothing. I mean, I guess I could play 4 of a kind and draw a bunch more queens. We have 16 remaining out of our 24 cards. So we could play 4 of a kind with the 3 of clubs, and we still have 2 hands left. So that's probably better than just playing the 3 of clubs. But I think either way is risky. I have a 2/3 chance 4 times. And the chance changes a bit whether I draw one or I don't. It goes up or down. But this is still a decent amount of points. I think this is better than just punting on a 3. Sort of the same conundrum. We drew 4. We have a glass one. We have a spare card. The chances are about the same to draw more queens of clubs. So if I just play the 7 and then I don't draw a queen of clubs, I think we're definitely dead. I think if we, I mean, the other option, of course, is like playing some of these. We would need to draw our other 9, our red seal 9. I think it's better to play them. Maybe not. Maybe that was the wrong call. So I think our only option here is to go full house like this. This hurts because it's taking a lot of the kings out of our hand. The kings will be offset by this and then some, actually. With 3 of them now, I think this is the best chance to still get over the hump. I can't imagine that swapping these 2 is better because this is going to trigger multiple times. Because this is kings and queens. I think we live. But I don't feel great about it. At least this is glass. This is our first flush house, so that's the only reason I'm concerned, is we're starting on a pretty low base. Yeah. Dang. I didn't think the flint was going to be that bad, but I mean, I guess it does make sense. And it happened to be that I hit on a non-queen of clubs hand at a bad time. And if I had seen that, maybe we could have planned a little bit differently. I could have spent more at the shop, for example, and maybe that could have made a difference. We weren't terribly far off. We almost made it to E17, and it was on the low side of E17, but it is a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping to get to at least ante 16. But at the same time, I have an E20 hand, the best run I've ever had, and you got to come along for the ride. I hope you enjoyed. Pretty happy about it. I get to go to bed now. That's pretty sick. That's pretty fucking cool. And we'll see you next time I happen to go deep on a run. I'll bring you along again. Hopefully you enjoy.